What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to another video. This is Test the Fifth, and of course we got to talk about this mysterious timer that Capcom has on their website for some odd reason. You already know what that means. It's time to go into the kitchen, grab that aluminum foil, and let's go ahead and make some tinfoil hats with these speculation and predictions as to what this Capcom timer means. So back on Sunday, February 13th, which is, if I can get this video out on time, it was literally yesterday or 2 days ago, Capcom put a 1 week timer on their website, and people have been pretty much discussing and predicting, you know, what possible game are they going to be announcing. And of course, some people are saying that according to leaks that it's possibly going to be the Resident Evil 4 remake. We have no clue what it could be, because I'm gonna tell you, Capcom has been very, very quiet lately with the productions that has been going on inside of this studio. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I really have no clue what Capcom is up to. If this countdown timer is an inclination of anything, they're putting this clock down timer on their website for a reason. They know that it garners attention. They know it's getting everyone to generate the hype. So I'm kind of being led to believe that it might be a new game. It might be a new IP. It might be a remake of some of their other existing IP that I've seen people wanting to come back, like Dino Crisis, and I'm not gonna name any names, but Onimusha. It could be anything that Capcom has ever produced, but we just don't know yet. And I like to be of the thinking that Capcom right now is still trying to play it safe. And I am of the thinking that maybe Capcom now is starting to gain the confidence and baby steps to start looking into other games that they produce and own outside of the 4 big titles, which is Resident Evil, Monster Hunter definitely, Street Fighter, and Devil May Cry. So I am led to believe that this timer is possibly indicating that we will see something new. Whether it is a new IP that is originally birthed in this modern age, or possibly a sequel or a remake of an already existing Capcom IP that they're kind of looking at and going, maybe this can work in this day and age now. But as far as my prediction, well then, oh boy, let's get into that. I'm of the team, and it's not because I'm very, very biased because I grew up playing Street Fighter and Marvel vs. Capcom. Because I grew up playing Marvel vs. Capcom and Street Fighter, I'm more of the party that is led to believe that it might have to do with Street Fighter 6, or, which what I hope it is, the announcement of a new Capcom fighting game. And here's why I believe that. See, this year, despite it being the 25th anniversary of Resident Evil, there's one little detail that is making me hold out on it being Street Fighter 6 or a new Capcom fighting game, and that's because the timer ends right on February 20th, 2022, which would be the 3rd and final day of Capcom's online Capcom Pro Tour. And usually what Capcom likes to do is when they're about to announce anything pertaining to Street Fighter, they usually do it at their tournaments. So that is what's leading me to believe that it's more towards Capcom's fighting division rather than Resident Evil. And of course, the safest, most predictable assumption would be to assume that this is the announcement of Street Fighter 6. I feel like it might still be a little too early for them to talk about Street Fighter 6 because the new changes that have been going on with the fighting game division of Capcom, for some odd reason, I still feel like it's a little too early. It's still too early right now to be discussing about Street Fighter 6. I mean, for all we know though, they could prove me wrong, but all I'm saying is that looking from the history of Capcom, and even with the way that they treated Street Fighter 5, the way that they were kind of unsure about, even just with like the graphics of Street Fighter 5, whether they want to go with a hyper realistic approach or tone it down and go with a more stylistic approach for Street Fighter 5. Now that Street Fighter 5 is finished and they have gotten somewhat of a grip on the story for Street Fighter 5, now it looks like they're still trying to decide whether or not Street Fighter 6 or the new Street Fighter. It doesn't even have to be called Street Fighter 6. It could just be a Street Fighter Alpha 4. We don't know. But it looks like they're still trying to determine whether or not they want to go past Third Strike or do something where it's gonna reset Street Fighter. But I have a feeling with this new kid that looks like a Paul brother that they're inching more towards possibly going past Third Strike finally after 20 god awful years. But this is my wild prediction right here, and by wild I mean cocaine line wild prediction, is that instead of being Street Fighter, I wanted to be a Project Justice Rival Schools or a new Dark Stalkers. I'm sorry, like I went there. Yes, I went there. I want it to be a new Project Justice Rival School game or a new Dark Stalkers game, and I actually have a reason why. If you look at the other companies that produce fighting games regularly, each of these 4 companies have 2 different fighting game titles. NetherRealms has Injustice and Mortal Kombat, SNK has King of Fighters and Samurai Showdown, Bandai Namco has Tekken and Soul Calibur, and Arc System has Guilty Gear and Blaze Blue. And Capcom was no exception to the 2 notable fighting game titles either, because they had Street Fighter along with Marvel vs. Capcom, but unfortunately, due to awkward ties between Marvel and Capcom and the whole weird way that Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite was handled, I'm of the consensus that we might not ever get another Marvel vs. Capcom title unless in some way, shape, or form Marvel and Capcom get back on better terms with each other, or don't have to worry about the I don't know, the egos or whatever of the powers that be for each company. Is weird. As far as I know, as of right now, Capcom is down a second fighting game title, but I'm going to be very optimistic and hope that since this countdown timer ends on the 3rd and final day of the Capcom Pro Tour, that it is the announcement of a new fighting game. They've been kind of owing fans of Darkstalkers, new Darkstalkers, to be honest, especially after they faked everybody out at that one E3, and when everybody thought that it was a new Darkstalkers, it was just a collection that they released, and it was just like, come on, Capcom, really? But that is it. Please, once again, this is all predictions. We have no clue. For all we know, the countdown could mean that Capcom is finally closing its doors and getting into, I don't know, pachinko machines. Like, we don't know, but I highly doubt that. What I do know is that don't take this video serious. Whatever this game is that Capcom is going to be announcing, or this news that Capcom is going to be announcing, a lot of people are going to be very happy and a lot of people are going to be upset. But that ends today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Please, if you enjoyed this video, click on that subscribe button and the notification bell for when you want to be informed when the next video gets uploaded onto this channel. And also, please, in my quest to conquer the algorithm gods, leave a thumbs up on this video, and as well as leave a comment if you believe that it could be the next title of a Capcom fighting game, or if it's just the announcement of Resident Evil 4 remake, or if you're optimistic, and I mean very optimistic, or if you like me, you want to see a classic IP of theirs come back into the modern age. Leave a comment down below stating what you think it could be. Could it be Dragon's Dogma? Could it be Onimusha? Could it be Dino Crisis? Could it be Asura's Wrath too? Who knows? But leave a comment down below with your prediction as well. Until the next video, stay safe, stay healthy, peace.